Hello everybody, welcome to a different kind of video, a Garden Warfare 2 tier list video. Now there's a few things I'm gonna talk about before we actually go into this. First of all, why is there a hood on? Because my hairline is awful, and I kinda don't want to show it. Justin suggested this video, or didn't suggest it. He came up with the idea on stream, or while we were talking. He said, when I get a PC, I want to do a Garden Warfare 2 tier list, and I thought, well, I have a PC. How come I haven't done that yet? So that's why I'm doing it now. When he uploads his video, just know that he thought of it first, not me. I'm only doing it because he mentioned the idea. And I'm also doing it before him because I have a PC before he did. So, yep, this is how the world works. Alright, another thing is this tier right here is the not ranked tier. I feel like I should go talk about a few things with this tier list. First of all, it's just based on how good the character is and like what I think the character accomplishes at. This not ranked tier is for characters I don't know anything about, or characters I don't care about, which is characters I don't know anything about. I don't know these characters and their gimmicks, therefore I put them in not ranked because it wouldn't make sense for me to put them in a tier that, you know, I wouldn't know. Another thing is, none of these characters are ordered. I just put them in the tier that I think they fit in. Let's actually talk about this tier list. It's based on, it's obviously a Garden Warfare 2 tier list, and it's about all of the characters in the game. This is every single character as far as I'm aware. I couldn't find the better one, so these are the icons we're gonna have to work with. And also just keep in mind that this is my opinion. If you think a character goes in a different tier, don't scream at me about it. Alright, this is just what I think the characters go in from my experience of the character, what I've had to do against the character, how I've fought against the character, how I've played as the character. This is just what I think of these characters. And with that, let's start at the top and work our way down. And I feel like I should also go over the characters that should be talked about, so I'm not here all day. Yeah, the top tier. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I feel like a lot of people would agree with me on this top tier. How Iron Citron is just has way too much health and does a lot of damage. And how Z7 Imp is just unloads a clip and it just kills people. Oh yeah, Necros exist. I feel like the only character I should really talk about here is maybe Commando Corn. I don't know. I feel like maybe he goes in top tier, but like this is the best characters tier, and then you have like the actually top tier. Yeah, I think he deserves to be in this tier because his damage is he does good damage and he hits it pretty consistently, in my opinion. And he's a corn, so he's got like broken abilities, so I think he deserves this tier. Alright, top tier. This top tier is the tier with who I think are, these are just like the best characters in the game. These are characters who I think are the best in the game, but aren't the best. You know. Let's talk about Plasma P, because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, Zed Gaming didn't put his favorite character in top tier. Because no, Plasma P is not EP, alright? He doesn't have manual detonation. No, he actually, I think he's the best charge character in the game. Like, you know, where you hold down the trigger button and the character charges up a shot. He's the best one just because it doesn't limitate him in any, it doesn't give him any limitations. Doesn't limit his ability to do anything when you charge him, so. And his damage is disgusting. He's really accurate. He's not on levels of Agent P or EP. I think he hits good damage. He's best charge character. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to put him in top tier. Another one, Arctic Trooper, maybe, because I feel like a lot of people would put this guy in, like, the best tier. I think, because sure, he does cheese every 1v1, but no, I don't think he deserves to be in top tier. Yeah, I think that does it for the top tier. I mean, like, I don't know. If you have any questions, I will probably explain it in the comments, but yeah, I think the top tier is pretty self-explanatory. Electrician, why is he in high tier? Because I think he's good. He's first, he's probably the engineer with the biggest splash damage outside of maybe Plumber. And because he's a splash damage engineer with electricity element, need I remind you, he can hit lots of opponents. He's pretty decent that way. Torchwood, he gets bundled so hard. It's probably what stops him from being in top tier, because he hits really good damage. And his abilities are just flippin' broken. But yeah, I feel like that's a respectable tier. And then Hovergoat, he's got decent abilities. He's a good support character, honestly. And the damage he hits is also really fantastic. Another one would probably be Rex Sunflower. Why is she in high tier? I've made like 2 videos on why I think Rex Sunflower is completely underrated. She hits like 11 to 12s as max damage. And she's a really decent healer as well. I feel like she's a really decent healer in this game. She's not like BFN Sunflower with the whole overheal gimmick, but yeah, I don't know. The heal flower, the whole heal flower, healing it to yourself so you can stay alive. I think it just works for her. If you want to know my opinion, I do think Zoologist is better than Chemist, but they're both point blank. I think that's enough of high tier. Let's move to 8.5 tier. I didn't know what else to call it. This is the high mid tier. This is basically characters that are like, they're close to middle, but they're also close to high. It's like, it's just an extra tier for the higher upper band of characters. Pea Shooter's good. He does 35 damage direct hit and does 10 damage splash. And he's got good reload. It's not that hard to land directs with him. Like, but I suck at aiming, so you wouldn't be able to see that from me ever. Fire Pea, I think, is the best out of the elemental trio of Pea Shooters, that being Fire Pea, Toxic Pea, and Ice Pea, or Snow Pea, as I like to say. Fire Pea, I think, is the best out of the trio, just because of his fire damage being consistent enough. You run a Fire Pea with fire damage, with the fire upgrade. A fire damage cycle is 25 damage, basically. And he has splash and fire, and he's a pea shooter with hyper and bean bombs, and it's Tank Commander's another one. I feel like he's, how do I describe Tank Commander? He's like a Tesco's own brand of Iron Citron, but Iron Citron's better. Well, actually, no, Iron Citron is the Tesco's own brand of Tank Commander, yet Iron Citron's better. Anyways, Head and Flame Face is like, his shotgun isn't the best, and he's probably the only pirate with damage drop-off. I don't even know why. And if that's not the case, he has the most damage drop-off. But the long-range shot isn't bad. Of course, he's still a pirate, so he gets the Cannon, Rodeo, and Barrel Blast, and the Parrot. He's a good pirate, honestly. I don't know. I feel like he's very underrated. Alright, mid-tier. This is where we start on Chompers. Oh boy, Hot Rod Chomper. Alright. I feel like a lot of people put the Chompers in mid-tier and then the rest go in the lower tiers. I am one of those people because they're not good. Like, Chompers are probably the weakest class just because they're not given enough long-range tools. Like, Goop and Super Sticky Goop are not... Like, the Goops aren't good for long-range weapons, and Chomp Cannon, it sucks. Like, it's actually bad. Like, it's horrible. It's shit! Which is why they rely on mobility. Chompers need to be fast. Chompers need to be fast, and that's why this guy, Hot Rod, is in the mid-tier, because it makes sense. He's the fastest Chomper, therefore he's able to get kills quicker. But because he doesn't have any long range abilities, I can't put him in any of the higher tiers just because he doesn't have long range capabilities. So Chompers don't go any higher than mid tier, and the best Chomper is Hot Rod, so that's why he's right there. Alright, Toxic Pea. Okay, so Toxic Pea is a character I'm actually leveling up right now. And here's my opinion on Toxic Pea. He's not good. I do think he's better than Snow Pea, which does kind of hurt me to say that. But Toxic Pea is like, it's imagine Fire Pea, but the fire is like 2 damage 3 times, while the fire damage does 5 damage 5 times if you have the fire upgrade. The toxic damage is just not great. It's like, yeah, you can be near people and it will toxicate them, and it spreads across multiple enemies, but it barely does enough damage to actually kill. And the toxic damage is always very like lenient as well. It's like, I don't know. Toxic, I don't know. He's not great, and his element isn't that good either. So, and he only does 25 damage on impact, and he's got a very slow reload. He's one of the weaker pea shooters, but because he is a pea shooter, I think he deserves to be in mid tier, just because of his abilities alone, and the splash damage is. Yeah, splash damage isn't that great either. It's like 3 to 7 damage. It's not good. What's another one? Alien Flower, maybe. I put her in mid tier because I actually think she's decent. And she's great in turf, but outside of turf, she isn't the best. But she is still manageable, so I think that's why she's in mid tier. That's why she deserves to be there, anyways. These are characters that are just mid. Like they're good. They're okay. These are low mid tier. These are characters that are decent, like they're okay, but they're not great. Like, this is where most of the good chompers come in. This is Count Chompula and Twilight Chomper. You know, their gimmicks are pretty self-explanatory. This guy heals after every swallow, and this guy runs fast and has a warp that travels light years. It's self-explanatory. And then Fire Chomper here as well is just whatever, I guess. Like, Fire Chomper was actually my first Master Chomper, which sucks because I actually didn't want to master him, though Justin still owes me $20 for mastering him. Don't know when I'm going to get that, but okay. Fire Chomper's good. He's basically just Rhodey Z, but with like, Chomper abilities, so without the Bolt Blaster. Therefore, it doesn't make him good. Though he does have 175 HP, he moves decent fast, and he's not bad. He doesn't get a damage upgrade or anything. He just gets the fire upgrade and 2 digestions. But you just that's all you need to do. That's how you play Fire Chomper. Barbecue Corn is very he's not good. I know it's a lot to take in. Just keep up. The fire damage is. Fire damage is basically what saves this character from going any lower than low mid. However, his damage isn't great. It's 4 to 5, and that's just horrible. But his abilities are still good, and fire damage kind of saves him. Otherwise, he just doesn't land enough damage to be consistently good. Even at max rank, even at max level, he still sucks. Cosmic Brains. Here we go. All right, let's talk about Cosmic Brains. He's not as bad as people might think he is, but he does still kind of suck. Because his gimmick is you charge up a punch and then you hit them for 70, or you just straight up send them to the Shadow Realm. Yeah, it's not bad for a gimmick, but but without the speed upgrade, he sucks. And I guess that goes for every Super Brains, but specifically for Cosmic Brains, without the speed upgrade, he's not good. So you know. Alright, Pylon Imp. I know I already made a video about how much I don't like him, and that's why I put him in low mid, because I don't like him. He's very inconsistent. He's not good. For an imp anyways. All the imps have this rapid fire shot. Even Scallywag Imp almost got top tier, because I think he's really decent. He's solid, you know. Not Pylon. Pylon's gimmick is attacks are lobbed for some reason, so you kind of have to Minecraft shoot above in order to reach long ranges. In order to shoot long distances. The damage output is just not fast enough. He shoots kind of slow, and the damage isn't even that great. It's 15 to 37, which it doesn't sound too bad, but have you seen how slow he shoots? I made a video on it. Go watch it. And his mech isn't good at all. It's probably by far the worst mech in the entire game. Like, I like the mines, but the damage is just not good. The health is just abysmal. And he's just not good. Not at all. Electro Brains. He's boring. Alright, moving on. Metal Pedal, I feel like Metal Pedal probably goes this low because she counters soldiers and nothing else. Like, she can counter soldiers pretty well, but she doesn't counter a whole lot else, and I think that's what really holds her back. Plus, she's slow as hell and only does like 8 to 9 damage. She's not good. Alright, low tier, yeah, welcome to the home of the chompers. This is where all the chompers are. I haven't really had a big play around with power or toxic, but they're worse than fire, so I think that's okay to say. Wreck Chomper is just, he's just doesn't have a gimmick at all. Disco Chomper, I wish he wasn't as bad, but like, he is bad. Like, it's very hard to get his meter, and he doesn't have any special gimmicks outside of that. He's basically just Wreck Chomper, but with a meter. And Yeti Chomper, I don't know, Yeti Chomper just doesn't, the damage isn't great, the ice doesn't work, the range is awful. Like, they tried to make a Chomper with long range capability. Like, it doesn't work. Not for Yeti Chomper, and that kind of hurts. And then Unicorn is just bad, just because it's bad. Or Motocross Star, yeah, his gimmick is okay. His gimmick is good, his damage is awful. The gimmick is okay with the fact that he can stop any plant from using their abilities at some point. He's basically like freezing, but without actually freezing the plant. Damage is just straight awful. It's like Hockey Star damage, but he doesn't have the actually good fire rate, so he's probably like the worst all-star in the game. I'm gonna talk about all these characters because all of them have faults on their own. Toxic Citron, he doesn't do good damage, and because he's a toxic, I have my problems with the toxic element because it's not good, and Toxic Citron doesn't hit enough consistent damage. Though I do think he is better than E-Citron, but only by 1 tier. And, yeah, that's not really much of an improvement now, is it? Captain Squawk, I kinda wish this character was better than he actually is. The Flamethrower is awful, and if you try and Fire Chomper or Rhodey Z it will not work, because it is awful. It does not hit enough damage, because he's toxic, it doesn't work either. I do like his long shot, but it also sucks having 1 damage and can barely reload for anything. And again, it's toxic damage, so it's not even that good. It does like 30 to 40. He sucks. Armor Chomper. Alright. Yeah, he sucks. He's probably the worst Chomper in the entire game. Even worse than this guy right here. Ugh. But Armor Chomper, he's slow. He chomps slow. He's... I don't understand why he's got 215 health, but he moves at the pace of a snail. A dead snail at that. He's so slow. And while he does do 50 damage every chomp, I doubt the speed upgrades even help him. Sprint Burrow doesn't even help him. Nothing saves this character from being awful. And if you're just starting out to leveling him up, I'm sorry. Alright, and here are the 2 characters I despise the most. Like, just in general, I don't like Rockpea, and I have nightmares when I look at him. Alright, let's talk about Rockpea first. Rockpea is... oh, God. How do I say this? Rockpea. Pea shooters are all about mobility, with their whole splash damage, and they're small, and they're meant to be fast. And that's kind of why Agent P is probably the best one, and so is EP. EP's the fastest one, and hits so much damage. That's why he's top tier, because he, you know, Rockpea is not that. He just does normal splash damage. It does like 11 to 18. That's not good at all for damage. And like, he's got the weakest splash. He doesn't have the oh god. And he's slow. I don't even know why they had to make him armored. It doesn't help him at all. And completely unrelated, but he looks awful. I mean, he's by far one of the worst looking plants in the entire game. Outright. I mean, this guy's worst looking, but Rockpea, he doesn't look good, and he isn't good to play with. He sucks. Like, he sucks. Alright, let's talk about Chomp Thing. Okay, hold on. What can I say about Chomp Thing? Well, for one, he's a spray chomper, and those are considered to be the worst chompers, which is why fire chomper is so low, because he's not good. But I like him, so. However, Chomp Thing, I do not like. I do not think he hits enough damage to do anything, and without a specific element hiding behind that spray, what's the point of him spraying if he doesn't have an element behind it? And he's got only 135 health. I guess his gimmick is the reason he's not in absolute garbage. He just doesn't hit enough damage because he's a chomper. He's so limited in what he can do. He looks like actual turds and shit. Like, and his gimmick isn't even that good. I've seen Chomp Things die within matters of seconds because they only have 135 health, and their health gimmick doesn't help them. Like, I don't understand where they faulted in this, where it went wrong with this character. Like, just make him chomp, dude, and they just didn't do that. Oh my god, it angers me so much with this character. Like, before I hated him just because he looked ugly, but then when I figured out what he actually does, it pissed me off, because he's not good. His gimmick is just straight awful. Oh god. Now you know why I hate Chomp Thing so much, because his gimmick isn't good, and what he does isn't good. His primary sucks, because he's a spray chomper, and because he's a chomper overall, he doesn't have enough stuff to counter any characters good enough. That didn't make sense, but you know what I'm trying to say. I'm sorry, I'm angry, and I could barely come up with the words I'm trying to speak here. But yeah, Chomp Thing, he's not good. His damage isn't great. His primary is just awful. I don't know why they made him a spray chomper. And his gimmick sucks ass. I'm sorry, I hate Chomp Thing, and you know why, and now you know why properly. And then we have E-Citron in the absolute garbage tier. By far, what I think is the worst character in the entire game is E-Citron. He does 1 damage for Splash. I feel like that explains it all. A max charge shot at best is gonna do like 50 damage. Like, his primary sucks, and none of his abilities actually help him towards killing. Like this character's best advantage is just shield, and then once the shield runs out, EMP, and just like, you know. I mean, I guess like you could think of an interesting tactic by just charging up until the second shot and just, you know, do that. But I can't even. He's so bad. He's just, I think we can all agree that E-Citron is by far the worst character in this entire game. And Chomp Thing's gimmick isn't that good. With that, that is my Garden Warfare 2 tier list. Let me know if you want to see me do more, because I can do character designs, I could do maps, I could do game modes, if there even is one for game modes. I could do abilities, I could do annoying characters, annoying abilities. Like, I don't know, it just, I don't know. I could do so much tier list wise for this game. Just let me know if you want to see more. But this is my this is my current opinion on the characters, and while I'm not exactly max rank yet, I've mastered a lot of characters in my time. This is what I'm saying for all of them. So Plasma P is unfortunately not top tier, and Chomp Thing is unfortunately not bottom tier. But yeah, let me know what you think about the characters. If I am completely wrong about a specific character, then let me know. In my opinion, this is who I think is the best. This is who I think is the worst. If you don't like my opinion, then don't scream at me about it. It's, you know, this is just what I think. And Justin did come up with this idea before me. I just kind of beat him to the punch. I just kind of beat him to it. So when his video comes out, go and watch it. It will probably be a lot of fun. And he's mastered way more characters than I have, so his opinion will probably be more accurate than mine. And he came up with the idea first. So thank you, Justin, for letting me steal your idea. I'm sorry. I had a PC first, alright? I had to make this video. Anyways, but Justin did come up with the idea first, so go watch his video and support it when he does make it eventually, which will probably be in, I don't know when he'll make it, but when he does make it and when he does upload it, go and support it, because he thought of the idea first. Alright, enough of that. Thank everybody so much for watching. Hope you guys have all enjoyed. See you guys all there. Goodbye.